Did you know that in 1872 there actually was a woman who ran for president? She was not recognized for that for reasons. Well, let's get to know Victoria. Victoria Woodhull was actually the first woman to run for president of the United States. She was a leader of the women's suffrage movement. She was the first woman to own a brokerage firm on Wall Street, none other. She actually even started her own weekly newspaper and an activist for women's rights and labor reform. At her peak of political activity, early 1870, she is best known for the first woman candidate to run for presidency of the United States, which she ran for in 1872 for the Equal Rights Party. She was born in 1838, the seventh of 10 children in Homer, Ohio. She was very close to her sister named Tennessee, in short for Tenny. From childhood, she always maintained that she was guided and protected by the Spirit. She stated that occasionally they would let her visit the world of utopia of heaven. She spent most of her summers with her family, called a medicine show that they had, telling fortunes and selling different kinds of medications. She got married at the age of 15 in 1853, escaped her father's clutches. She had children, and she soon learned that that new husband was an alcoholic and a womanizer, and so she knew she had to work outside the home to support her kids. Now in 1860, she moved to New York, which is where the family was already living, in search for new clients, because she was a medium. Now Woodhull and her sister become spiritual advisors to none other than Cornelius Vanderbilt. She was a railroad magnate. With Mr. Vanderbilt, the sisters helped guide him to speak to his dead wife and to gain financial insights. Now, Vanderbilt bankrupted the sisters. They were the first women to own a brokerage firm, and they started the weekly newspaper. A year after she shut up shop, she addressed the House Judiciary Committee on behalf of women's suffrage. Woodhull had argued the women had rights to vote. All they had to do was use it. The 14th and 15th Amendments granted that. Many prominent women suffragists were captured by this leadership that she couldn't contain. In 1871, she announced a candidacy to run for president. That would be 50 years before women could even vote. But there sure was no law at the time to prevent a woman from running for president. And she was nominated by the newly formed Party of Equal Rights on May 10, 1872. They also nominated her for former slave abolishment. Now there are some that have disagreed of even classifying her as the first woman who ran for presidency. Why? Younger than 35. She didn't receive a popular vote or electoral vote. She was a woman, so they excluded her. Social furor broke out over this story. Moved to England, married a rich, started a magazine called The Humanitarian.